weeks ago, Ormskirk and District Family History Society reached the end of our Crowdfunding Lancashire campaign, sharing people's history of West Lancashire. And we're delighted to say that not only did we reach our fundraising target, we sailed right past it. We achieved what we hoped to. We learnt a lot about making effective use of social media and also local media, and the new monthly e-newsletter that our new membership secretary launched this summer. And more to the point, we also had a great day at our family history fundraiser in early September to support the project. ODFHS has to plan, write and publish 2 short booklets, similar in style to A Slice of Gingerbread, which we published in July. Each will be about 20 pages long. The theme for our first publication has already been chosen: Lost Buildings of West Lancashire. Buildings of local historical interest or significance which either don't exist anymore, or maybe they do exist but they're no longer in a habitable condition, or they aren't used for the purpose they were originally constructed. Unfortunately, the contents of our research library include a whole range of materials that are just waiting to be put to good use. Our committee members have been discussing ideas about which buildings to include. There's a lot of history in West Lancashire. We're also starting to look at researching and writing what you might call potted histories of each particular location. Essentially, what we're hoping to produce is along the lines of a beginner's guide to various locations on our map. Nothing too deep or academic, it's more, here is a short guide to some historically interesting places in and around Ormskirk that maybe you'll be inspired to find out more about for yourself. Our society was, after all, founded on the idea that we would cover the 16 ancient townships of West Lancashire. So potentially we could choose anywhere between Scarisbrick in the west and Skelmersdale in the east, Hesketh with Beaconsfield in the north, or Maghull and Melling in the south. One thing we do know is that we are really keen to make sure that the selection will include places outside the town of Ormskirk. I found this lovely photo in a box of papers handed on while I took over as magazine editor, sent to us by Phil Thomas, showing all that remains of the 12th century Burscough Priory. There's Lydiate Hall, built during the Wars of the Roses, with some interesting links to Catholic history too. More recently, the King's Arms, which used to be on Moor Street and was demolished in the 20th century to be replaced with modern shop units and shop fronts. I'm sure that you can already see that there is serious potential to create something really interesting here. Those buildings were important to all sorts of people, whether they were the monks at Burscough Priory, the cooks and the maids at Lydiate Hall, or maybe even the customers who called into the King's Arms for a drink. On the 6th of November 2023, a few of us met up to review the first drafts of these different sections that will make up the contents. As magazine editor, I am very used to looking at material in a particular way, but it was really useful to hear other people's ideas. And in just a couple of hours, we were all thinking in a really editorial way. We're starting to think about practical details. How many buildings can we fit into one booklet? How many pages do we actually need to fill once we've included acknowledgements and introductions? Should we crop 6 chapters to meet a set word count? Or is it more interesting and maybe more attractive to choose 4 of those sections for the first booklet, use the extra space for illustrations and keep the other two lost buildings for continuation in a second booklet. Crucially, we also know that we're working to a deadline. We're hoping to work with a local artist, so we're also thinking about ideas for illustrations, styles that aren't too technical or complicated, and that won't put too much pressure on anybody. We're creating something that's meant to inspire people to find out more for themselves. People who maybe have never attempted any kind of historical research before, or even thought about it before. Maybe picking up these booklets will inspire them to come into our research library to do exactly that. And a brief section on ideas for further reading is going to be a lot less intimidating than a huge cross-referenced bibliography with numbered footnotes and an index of sources. Aside of anything else, we want to use the bulk of pages available to talk about the buildings, not to put the footnotes in. We're starting to see that we are going to be working as authors, editors, proofreaders, designers over the coming months. And we know that there is still a lot of work to be done. But overall, sharing people's history of West Lancashire is already making great progress, and we're only 8 or 9 weeks in. So we'll post another update in a couple of months when we'll tell you a little more about the next stage of our plans. Please do look out for it.